Have you ever felt confused by what men tell you that they want? And isn't it weird how after you actually do the thing, you only get a negative response from him in return? So was he lying about it the entire time? The answer might surprise you, which is why on today's show, we're going to be discussing 4 things men want you to do, but will never tell you to do. That way, after learning this information, you can have men dangerously unaware of why they're so obsessed with you. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so that I know you're here present and actively participating. How are all of you beautiful people doing today? I love seeing, well, I'm not seeing your faces, but I love seeing your profiles. That sounds weird, right? I love seeing your profiles and your messages. Yeah, I like those messages. Yeah, I like those profiles. Let me make sure that the YouTube chat is on the screen here. How are you guys doing on this beautiful Friday? I see we got Sharice. I said we got SH up in the chat today. We got Adorable up in here. We got Swift, E-Bone, It's Me, Manila. We got Anna. We got May, K Baby. We got We got X. I think did that with Scotty here. Did I see Scotty here earlier? Who else we got up in the YouTube chat? That was the TikTok chat. We got Ivy, our amazing channel member. We got Rihanna, like the not famous Rihanna, but just as beautiful, I'm sure. Rihanna. We got Irina here. We got Pamela is here. We got VW here. Trini here. Tracy Niles was first in the chat today. We got Oracle here. Who else we got? And lots more. Camilla is here. The Original is here. And also, Nicole is here, one of our amazing channel members. Welcome all you beautiful people. So good to see you. So good to spend this time with you. I like spending this time with you. Do you like spending this time with me? Why am I whispering? All right, let's get started, guys. So we got a lot to discuss today, in a lot of detail. So number one, we're going to be talking about today of things men want you to do, but they won't tell you to do is to pace them. Now, I want to preface everything that I'm going to say when we go through all of these points, because a lot of these things, when I say them, they're going to be a little bit confusing to you because you're going to say, Tomisin, I feel like that's counterintuitive to what men actually want. And I've never had a man tell me to pace him. I've never had a man tell me to this. I've never had a man tell me to do that. In fact, Tomisin, most men that I meet, if I were to ever say that I'm about to do that, they would say absolutely not. I would hate that. Here is the thing that I want you to understand, okay? And I really, really need you to understand this. Men are not very good at communicating to you what they actually want, okay? Because they don't understand that what they actually want is actually a function of what will get the best response out of them. Do you understand what I'm saying? So let me give you an example of what I mean so that you can understand everything that we're going to discuss today. Let's say, for the sake of example, in a way that a guy will tell you that, hey, I would really like it if you would clean up the kitchen every single day. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, so if I clean up the kitchen every single day, then he's going to be happy and he's going to be a good camper and everything's going to be all right. But in reality, when you clean up the kitchen every single day, he's not more appreciative of you. He only ends up getting more lazy and asking you to do more and do more and do more until he doesn't want to do a damn thing. So I say that to say a lot of times guys will ask of you something that doesn't actually give you in return the actual positive response that you want. Right? You want appreciation, you want them to treat you right. And in this case, in a lot of cases, you want princess treatment. And a lot of times, sometimes the things that you're going to give men, especially when you give them too much of something at the very beginning, you're only going to end up getting the response you don't want, which is him to not notice you, not care about you, not think about you, and not give you any princess treatment. Okay? Right? So number one was to pace them. Now, this is a perfect example, actually, of what I just discussed and what I'm going to be describing for the rest of the show. See, the thing that you need to understand is, despite what any man will convince you of, because they'll try to convince you of a lot, they're going to try to convince you that this relationship is really intense and really deep at the very beginning. They're going to want to talk to you all about how it's love at first sight and how as soon as they laid their eyes on you, nothing has ever been the same in their life. Yes, they're going to want to convince you of that wholeheartedly. They're going to want you to believe in that wholeheartedly. But here's the thing. No matter what he tells you. I can guarantee you. See, I'm actually trying to help you. Okay. The guys that talk to you, they don't actually know what they want. I'm trying to help you because I know how guys actually respond. Let's talk about what men want in the way that actually gets the best response. So I say that, see, here's the thing. Don't let men trick you into thinking that allowing this relationship to be really intense, really fast is what's actually going to get the best response out of him. No, that's what's going to make him the happiest in the moment because he's getting what he wants without a lot of work. And I don't just mean sleeping with him. I also mean girlfriend treatment. Okay. So when I'm talking about pacing men, what I'm specifically talking about is pacing the relationship and allowing yourself the space and the time to get to know him under all these different circumstances, learn him better, understand the way he thinks, understand the way he operates in all of these different situations, other than just when you guys are out on a Saturday night sitting down and eating fettuccine Alfredo. Because the one mistake that you can make, and it will always be a mistake, is to rush things and end up jumping into a relationship with someone that you don't really know. And a lot of times guys are really good. The really smart, intelligent men are really good at getting you hyped up, getting you all, excited and getting you horned up about jumping right into this relationship before you even get a chance to understand who he really is. So when I say pace them, you need to be making sure that you do not make the mistake of allowing him to jump the gun because he has convinced you that this relationship is so intense and so amazing and so strong and so heavy at the very beginning before you guys have even actually gotten into anything or actually discovered each other or learned anything about each other. And the reason I say you need to pace them, I know you're saying, Thompson, instead of telling me that it's my job, these men should have some self-control. These men should know what they want. These men should know that it only benefits a relationship to wait until it's the right time. Why are they rushing me if they actually want this too? Thompson, that's super toxic. You're saying men should be toxic and they shouldn't face any consequences? What I'm trying to help you explain, okay, this is where you need to be listening and paying attention. I really want you paying attention to this. You have to understand that whether or not a guy really wants you, even if he really wants to build with you, he's naturally inclined, as he's attracted to you and you're an attractive person, to try to sleep with you if he can. Now, some men are going to say, you know what, because I'm so evolved and mature that I'm not even going to attempt to sleep with you and I'm not even going to act on my physical attraction to you less. Some men might do that. But you have to understand there are also men who are willing to wait, but if you don't make them wait, they would gladly take the opportunity to sleep with you. There are men, right, in your life that will date you, that you'll come across, that if given the opportunity to sleep with you and you're okay with it and it's consensual, they will sleep with you. And I need you to understand that doesn't make them bad people because they would sleep with you if you gave them the opportunity. It just makes them a human being who is attracted to you. So don't get upset at the idea that, oh my God, any man who would try to sleep with me, when we first start dating is a man that, I don't want, that is toxic, that is horrible. Not necessarily. See, there's men who would like to sleep with you if you wanted to sleep with him on the first night. But if you weren't into that, if that wasn't your vibe, if that wasn't something you were interested in, they would be perfectly fine continuing to date you without having sleeping with you be on the table for the first or second date. And I just need you to understand the nuance that comes with that. Don't live your life on one extreme or the other where you think any guy who wants to sleep with you is a horrible man, because the reality of it is any guy who's physically attracted to you would love to sleep with you if it's consensual, of course. But the reason I say that is because you need to understand it then becomes your job to say, I'm here to build with you. If you're here to build, right? And you don't actually have to say this, but this is the mindset and approach you need to have. If you're here to build, I'm only looking for someone who's here to build, and I'm going to be waiting until I evaluate you to understand if you're who I'm looking for. If you're not who I'm looking for, you're not going to be getting access to me, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And then the men have to sit by like a dog and wait until you're ready to receive them. And if you're not ready to receive them because they haven't proven themselves, then they have nothing to do. Do you understand? And you pace them. And the thing that happens after you pace them is they begin to respect you for not jumping the gun yourself and also having enough self-respect that you don't just fall easily for the tricks. Let me give you an example so that you can specifically understand what I mean by pacing and how you might be able to implement this in your relationships and in your situationships. Okay. So let's say you meet a guy for very first date and you guys are drinking wine on the date. You're having a good time. You're laughing. You're flirting, you're giggling. You really feel like you're vibing and getting along in person here, and this date is going really well. And he says, oh, I'm enjoying this date so much and I'm, loving our vibe. I know we just finished at this restaurant, but are you thinking that maybe you want to come over to my place? We'll drink some wine, have a little nightcap and continue our conversation. And you're like, you know what? I love the conversation we're having and I love spending this time with you, but I have to be up in the morning. And also, I want to get to know you more before I go over to your house and things like that, and have that type of conversation, in your place like that. And he says, oh, sure, perfectly fine. I mean, that's okay. We can go home, and then, of course, I'd love to see you for another day if I can. You're like, sure, I'd love to go out somewhere with you again. If you think of anything, let me know, and I would definitely be down. I enjoyed this date so much. Okay, so that's a direct example of how you pace men in a way where it's like, oh, no, I like you. I like spending time with you so far. You're a great person so far. And I enjoy our date so far. But that doesn't mean that because I'm enjoying the date and because you're amazing on one dinner date where we're slurping up fettuccine Alfredo, that all of a sudden, I'm going to be like, oh, this is going to be the best thing ever. And we should just get married today because I enjoyed one date with you. And see, while some men might react shocked that you have some self-respect, because rest assured, some men will be shocked that you have self-respect, they will eventually come back around, respect you because of your self-respect. And they'll do one of two things. They'll either walk away because they're like, you know what? I was only here to take easy advantage of you, but I realize you're not that type of girl, so I'm not even going to waste your time or my time, and they'll just walk away. Or some men will come back around and say, you know what? My mistake. I thought you were like one of these other girls who I can manipulate and take advantage of and sleep with on the first night. I see now you're not one of those girls. Perfectly fine with me. I'm here to build with you because I actually respect you in the way that you operate. This is where it gets weird. And which is why the title of the show is What Men Actually Want You to Do, but they won't tell you. Because think about this. I really want you to be like, put yourself in a man's shoes for a second. This is why the show is called The Players Club. Think about this logic. Why would a man come to you and tell you that the best thing for you to do in our relationship so that I can respect you and like you more and want to be with you more is for you to pace me and not allow me to sleep with you as soon as possible? Think about how little that makes sense. So you have to understand there are certain things that men actually want from you. But in reality, they're not going to come out and say those things because saying those things would actually just make their life harder in a way that is unnecessary, if that makes any sense, right? And so a guy is not going to come out and tell you, please make my life harder and please make it harder for me to sleep with you so that I can respect you. But when you make it harder for him to sleep with you, he ends up respecting you. He ends up realizing that because you have value, because you have self-control and self-respect, you're not going to be mesmerized just because he waltzes up in a nice, a suit or a nice dress shirt and he goes out on a date and he cracks you a couple of jokes that you're going to be so mesmerized by his kindness and his compliments that you're just going to open your legs and let him jackrabbit himself inside of you. Because the reality of it is, no matter how much guys might say that would be amazing for them or how much, they would love a girl who's upfront with them and tells them exactly how she feels and tells them exactly how much she wants them. They're not saying that because they actually want that. They're saying that because if a girl is stupid enough to actually do that, it makes their life so easy because they can take advantage of her without any of the guessing game, without any of the, courting, without any of the hard work required to put into a relationship to get what they want from them. Okay? Right? So someone says if he's a narcissist, then it doesn't matter how long you wait. Well, I'm not recommending any of you date narcissists, and I never have. I actually recommend, in order to identify narcissists, that you wait a little bit, and rather than just focusing on sleeping with the person or how long it's been, start learning them and understanding them. Because you have to understand, I see, a lot of people talk about narcissists and this and that, they don't even know what it means. But people don't understand that if you actually waited long enough, and this is actually directly to the point of pacing someone, because when you pace someone, you actually give yourself a chance to meet them under a whole bunch of different circumstances and situations and emotions. One thing I need you to take away from this show, if you don't take away anything else, okay, remember this. You do not know someone, specifically a man, you don't know him unless you've seen him under a range of emotions. Meaning, if you only know that man when he's happy and sitting in front of you on a date, slurping up spaghetti on a Saturday night, you don't actually know him, okay? So when you guys are thinking, how long should I wait? How long should it be until I sleep with them, Thompson? Should I wait 3 weeks? Should I wait 90 days? Should I wait 4 months? Should I wait 10 months? What I'm trying to tell you is stop focusing on the days that have passed, because a lot of you, as days are passing, don't actually know that guy any better. And part of pacing those guys is also pacing yourself. So you're giving yourself an opportunity to know that guy for real. Because when someone is angry, they're going to treat you very differently from when they're, happy, right? When someone might be sad, upset, stressed out, they got work problems, they got family problems, they got friendship problems, they got their own life problems, right? And you'll notice that when you meet someone in all these different ranges of emotions, the way they treat you might change. The way they approach the relationship might change. The way they go about you might change. The way they respect or disrespect you might change. And these are all things that you need to be adding to your bag of information. Because remember, the person with the most information wins. And if you're not gathering information 24/7, you're losing. Because without information, you won't be able to make a clear, logical decision on, is the person that I'm spending and investing all this time with actually the person that I'm looking for? Sneaky says, I fell for him. My bad. Now I know better. Has been 2 years. Okay, we all make mistakes, including me. But that's why the Players Club exists, right? So that you can all get better at analyzing information, understanding what's going on, being patient, and continuing to extract information as you're patient, and continuing to reanalyze situations. Don't just let yourself take the easy way out by saying, I went on 1 or 2 dates with you. I like you so far. When we're slurping up spaghetti on a Saturday night, I guess we'll get married now. Give yourself an opportunity to know the men better. Give him an opportunity as well to respect you more when you pace him and pace the relationship, and don't allow him to rush you into making a decision before you're ready. Because the reality of it is, it serves you in multiple ways. When you pace him and the relationship, you get to learn who he is and gather more information so you don't have to make mistakes. He also ends up respecting you more and approaching you with more respect because you set that foundation, and you end up a happier person and a happier princess, because he now, out of his respect for you and his respect for your self-respect, he sees more value in you, and he approaches you subsequently because of the value he sees in you. It all kind of works and snowballs together. So if you're doing one thing wrong, it's a lot of things start falling apart. When you do a couple things right, you start moving in the right direction overall, okay? Does that make sense? Rogue says, you're definitely talking to me. It's okay. Like I said, that's why the Players Club exists. So you can learn and realize some things, and it'll all work together. Okay. Right. Camilla says, how do I get him angry? That's a funny question. See, you have to understand that in every relationship and that you build with someone, you're always going to be building with an individual, someone who didn't grow up like you, who didn't have the same parents as you, who had different type of siblings than you, in a different environment than you, with a different understanding and perspective of life based on their own experiences. So I say that to say, because they're an individual, it is impossible for you guys to agree on absolutely everything. So even when you're pacing someone, part of the thing, you need to know that there will come a point you guys have disagreements. There will come a point where you're both angry at each other. There will come a point where there is conversations that are tough to be had. That is natural, and that should be expected in any real healthy relationship, okay? But what is not natural, I forget who it was that just said it, but what is not natural is if the person that you're talking to throughout the span of you getting to know them never, ever disagrees with you, never, ever has an issue with anything, never, ever has a important conversation with you about their perspective or the way that they view things, because that's unnatural. Two individuals who grew up differently, who have different mindsets, especially who are of two different genders, are definitely not going to agree on everything and see everything the same way. So when you're pacing yourself, you even see those who are hiding things from you, right? Because you start to get to notice that doesn't really make sense. If we're different and we see things differently, at some point we're going to disagree. And it's starting to make me a little bit uncomfortable that we never have a disagreement. Not that I want an argument, but it's natural for two people to have different opinions. So when I give an opinion, or when I give a thought, or when I have a decision that I want to make or I want to do, and you're constantly agreeing with me, and you're constantly okay with everything I do, I'm starting to wonder if you're holding back your real thoughts and feelings on things as to hide what you really feel or what you really think so that you can get what you want. Or maybe you're just unaware of the fact that you're suppressing how you really feel. But rest assured, even if you're suppressing it, that is building up and building up and building up, and eventually it'll explode. Okay, that's a whole show for another day. The quiet men that explode after a while. You don't want that. And that's also something to look out for, that you can only understand when you pace yourself and pace the relationship. You'll get a lot out of the relationship. You'll get a lot of respect, and you'll get a lot better treatment from guys. I promise you. And I know, like I always say, I know that it doesn't make sense. It's not meant to make perfect sense to you, okay? Because you're going to be like, why don't guys just say that they don't want us to sleep together on the first date if that's not what they really want? Why would he tell me that he wants to sleep with me on the first night, knowing that if I do it, he's just going to be less attracted to me? You have to understand, even the guys that like you and want you are still going to try. And if they are able to succeed, they will do it. Okay, there's not many guys, well, maybe some, but there's not many guys that are going to like you, want to build with you, but turn down the ability or turn down the access to being able to sleep with you if you're okay with it. Okay, like, let's just be for real. And so then it becomes your job to say, hey, I like you, but we're not doing that right now. Okay. And even when you're pacing guys, like someone asked in the chat earlier, when you're pacing guys, you're not thinking about how many days it's been. Please, 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 I love you so much and I care about you. That's why we have this show damn near every day. Please do not be having in your mind, I'm pacing him until 3 months pass. I'm pacing him until 1 year passes, or I'm pacing him until I mark down these amount of days on my calendar. That does not serve you. What you're pacing him for, and you for, is to be able to better understand him as a whole human being, meaning through the range of emotions, when he's angry, sad, stressed out, happy, joyful, all the things that he's going to feel as a human being. And you experience your relationship with him in a plethora of different types of situations around family, when it's just you and him, when it's you and his friends, when it's you and your friends, when it's you and your family, right? All of these different ways you experience someone before you get a full picture of who they are. Have you ever met someone for the first time when it's just you and them one-on-one, and then you meet them with their friends and you're like, oh my God, you're a totally different person than when I met you and it was just me and you talking. In fact, you're so different that I actually dislike the person that you are with your friends, and I wish I could always have the person that I met when it was just me and you. Have you ever had that happen to you? I've had that happen to me. Okay. And that's with both guys and girls. And see, that's the thing, is that you don't actually know people until you meet them, the whole person. Well, I always say human beings are like 3-dimensional, obviously physically, but like emotionally and spiritually as well, right? There's multiple dimensions to a personality and a human being. You're never going to really know someone just by going on a couple of dates with them when they get all done up and they got all dressed up and they're prepared to meet you. And, you know, they've had a good day at work, so everything's good and everything's awesome and everything's amazing. And you need to know people on days where it's not so amazing, and on days where they're more regular, and on days where it's not like, you know, a fancy dinner date at 9 p.m. Okay? So I want you to be pacing yourself until you get to know them and in a holistic sense, rather than focusing on how many days that it's been. Does that make sense to you guys so far? All right. Salma says, I didn't like how my ex handled disagreement 7 months down the line. What he says is true. That's the thing, right? And sometimes you might be wondering, I wonder why we're never having any disagreements. It seems like he's always agreeing with me on everything. The reality of it is that's not possible. Okay? People are going to disagree with you on some things, right? They're individuals with their own thoughts and feelings. It's impossible for them to agree on everything with you. Nothing wrong with that. And there's a healthy way to go about disagreeing, but don't ever be of the thought that, hey, my man agrees with me on everything, so I'm never going to be able to see him when he's angry or when he's upset because he's just always calm and always happy. No, nobody in this world, I don't care who they are, nobody in this world is always calm, always happy, always joyful, and never feels pain or anger or upsetness or stress. Nobody. Okay? We all feel. Okay, we all feel the range of emotions, and understanding the guy also that you're meeting and how he processes those emotions are also keys you should be taking. All right, so number one was to pace them. Now, number two is gonna sound toxic. I know it's called the Players Club. I didn't tell you that the information I'm gonna give you is gonna be the most healthy, but it will help you get to where you want to go. So number two is that you need to not like them. I'll say it again, sorry, because it's too funny to me. Number two is that you need to not like them. I really mean that. You need to not like the men that you're dating. I know this sounds really counterintuitive and really dumb and really stupid. Don't worry, I'm going somewhere. What you need to get about us guys, that's not going to make sense to you. We are hardwired to want to work for something in order to get it. It just, I don't know. Whoever created us, that's what they put inside our brains. Okay? And it's very, very, very difficult for us men to see value in something that we were handed, right? Like literally on a silver platter, that we didn't have to do anything for, that we sat there and did no work for. It's very difficult to nearly impossible for us to see the value in that. We either need to, at that point, have that removed from us so we can see how bad our life is without that, or we need to feel like in order for us to have even gotten that, we had to climb this mountain, we had to go through this cave, we had to fight off this bear, we literally had to bandage up our wounds and limp all the way to the finish line to finally get to where we want to go, and then we were handed the thing. And within the thing, well, it's not that you're a thing. I'm just speaking in general in an analogy. Within the thing represents the hard work, pain, sweat, tears that I went through to get this thing. Okay? Olympic gold medalists don't spend their entire lives dedicated to one single sport. Blood, sweat, tears, injuries, pain, crying, suffering, all mental issues, all that stuff. They don't do all of that for the piece of gold on their chest. They don't do it for that, because theoretically they could just make money and go buy that same piece of gold. It's not about that. It's about what that piece of gold represents, and all of that blood, sweat, tears, hard work, early mornings, late nights, crying, bleeding, injuries, all of the stuff that they went through to get that gold medal. It's just gold. It's just a mineral that can be found anywhere on this earth, right? And you can actually go buy it anywhere you want, okay? You just need money. But that's not what it actually represents. It represents the work. It represents the consistency. It represents everything I put in to get that. So when the Olympic gold medalist, right, holds up their gold medal, they're not holding up gold. They're holding up what they believe, right? They're attached to the gold medal because of what it represents, how it represents all of that hard work that they put in to get that gold medal. So they're not proud of the medal itself. It's just tin metal, okay? Who cares? They're proud of the hard work that went into that piece of metal. So I say that to say sometimes you need to understand that the best way to have men value you and appreciate you is to not like them, so that they actually have space to work for you. That way, when they get you, you don't have to change. You don't have to be anyone different. But that way, when they get you, they feel like they work towards something and they actually put their blood, sweat, tears, and dedication into you. And they have a lot more emotional and spiritual investment in you, the human being. And so that way it allows them to say, I want to make this work. I want to be consistent with this. I don't just want to let this go out of my life for nothing. Because when they invest so much into you, I need you to really, really, really soak this in. When men, forget what people say about spending money. Okay, forget that. Forget what people say about buying gifts and cars and bags and none of that stuff really matters. Because when a man invests emotionally and spiritually into you, the human being, that is when it's the most painful for you to walk out of his life. Because investing your energy, your being into someone else is not something you can pay for in the store. It's not something you can, I'll put my credit card down and I'll get it in a little bit. Or I'll use some disposable income and I'll throw money at it, right? It's not something you can recreate, and it's not something you can take back or buy in a store. Once you let go of that energy and that emotional and spiritual investment you put into someone, trying to work with them, trying to get them, dating them, trying to be the best version of yourself, trying to build yourself up for them, you cannot take that time and take that energy back as a man. So that is by far the most valuable way to get a man truthfully invested in you, not fake invested in you. Because some of you get the idea that the way to get a guy invested in you is to just have him spend money on you, and that's going to mean he's invested. That's not how that really works. Because guys with disposable income will just throw money at you because they have a lot of money. That doesn't mean they're actually invested in you. Maybe a man who doesn't have money spending money on you, it will be more painful for him, so he might have more investment. But guys who have money are not going to feel anything by investing money into you. Okay? Does that make sense? So the reason that I say you do not want to like them is because you need to allow them space so that they can like you and pursue you. So let me give you an example of what I mean. See, one of the things that men are going to do when you start dating them, they're going to ask you things like, they might say something to you like this: hey, you never ask me out on dates, or you never come and ask me or plan with me something or take me out or anything like that. It's always me texting you. It's always me calling you. I just feel like you don't really like me. I just feel like you don't really want me or want this relationship or want to build with me. I feel like I'm doing all the work and you're not doing anything. This is a trick. Because men might be in pain that they're doing a lot of work for this, but that doesn't mean that you should actually stop allowing them to do a lot of work for this. Because the moment you step in and say, oh, I'm so sorry, sweetie. I'm so sorry, honey. I know that it's really painful for you to ask me out on dates all the time. And I know that we just started, but you know what? I'm the girl, and this is 2024 and feminism and equality now. So why don't we go to the Cheesecake Factory? My treat. I know I'm not your girlfriend. I know I'm not your wife, but let me pick you up. I'll drive. I'll pick you up. When is your schedule free? I'll adjust my schedule so I'm free for you. I'll pick you up at 8 p.m. We'll go to the Cheesecake Factory and I'll take you out on a date so that I can show you how much I like you. And you know what? On top of that, after the date, we'll go back to my place, right? I'll pull your pants down to your ankles. I'll slurp you off so crazy, right? So sloppy, just like you like and just like you enjoy, so that I can show you how much that I like you, how much that I want you, so that you don't have to question the fact that you're putting in work for me. And you want to know what's going to happen after that amazing day? You're going to think to yourself, gee, he probably likes me so much now. Gee, he probably really wants me now. Gee, he probably wants to marry me now. And he's thinking to himself, gee, I just extracted everything I could possibly want from this girl, and I did nothing for her the entire day. How can I continue this trend of doing nothing for her while she does everything for me? Because it feels real good to not have to work for anything, to just pop her in the microwave and get a full course meal out of her without doing any preparation or any work. I think I'm going to continue doing that. In fact, I think I'm going to continue doing less, sitting back, relaxing, and she can continue taking me out to the Cheesecake Factory, slurping me up crazy, doing everything I could possibly desire, and I'll do nothing. Okay? And I say that because that is the mistake that a lot of you make. You think that showing them how much you like them and want them, especially at the beginning, is actually making them like and want you more. When in reality, it's actually making it easier for those guys to be more complacent with you. All you need to be doing, and this is the strategic version of this and what the men actually want you to do, they want you to make them feel like you kind of don't like them. And in fact, the only reason you continue to like them or even entertain them is because they put their best foot forward. So it's like you literally, by the skin of your teeth, you're literally just allowing them to spend this time with you and take you out. And little by little, each and every date, they're showing you a little bit more of why you should like them and why you should want to be in a relationship with them. And each and every date, you make him feel like he's earned just a little tiny bit more access to you, just a little tiny bit more of your heart that he has won over on each and every date, so that he doesn't feel like he's getting nowhere. He feels like he's progressing somewhere, but not enough where he feels like he's got everything he wanted and you're the one praising him now. Are you following what I'm saying? So obviously this is strategic, but this is something that the same way in a video game, you allow things to build over time. You're not going to accomplish every goal in the video game in one session. Is the same thing with you. There are levels that he must accomplish and challenges and obstacles he must overcome. But you never make the mistake of just coming out at the very beginning and saying, hey, I love you and love everything you do. You're so perfect. You're like Prince Charming and you can't make no mistakes, because he gets his ego stroked physically and emotionally. He gets his ego stroked. And then he says, you know what? I probably don't have to do any more now because I'm already here. She already likes me. She already really wants me. I'm already the man. Okay? I don't want you making that mistake. Show the men that you don't like them so that they can have that space to show you how much they want and like you. Okay. Let me acknowledge 2 donations here. You guys are so generous in this YouTube chat here. Pamela earlier donated $2 just to donate it. Thank you so much, Pamela. Nicole donates $10 and a super chat in the YouTube chat. She says, what you're saying makes sense. We were taught that we need them to like us first before we then do the hard work. Wow. It's the opposite, right? It's exactly the truth, right? And that's the confusing part that I know some of you are suffering from, because you started to believe when guys are telling you, hey, I feel like you don't like me. Hey, I feel like you don't want me. Hey, I feel like you're not invested in this. You started to actually believe, oh, maybe I should start showing you how much I like you and how much I want you. Maybe I should start getting on my hands and knees, putting my maid outfit on and scrubbing the floor squeaky clean so that you can notice how much I care about you in this relationship. That's not your job at the very beginning. Because remember, you're the job interviewer. He is the job candidate trying to show you that he's the best candidate for the job. Would you be asking the person who's interviewing you for a job what their qualifications are to interview you for this job or to be your hiring manager? No, because they're the ones hiring you for the job. They're already qualified. They're here to evaluate you and see if you're the right fit for them. So it's not their job to prove to you anything. It's your job to prove that you're the person that they're looking for to hire in this role. So it's the same thing with the men. When they're approaching you, hopefully the men in your life are approaching you and you're not approaching them and asking them out. When they're approaching you, they're asking to get to know you. They're asking to take you out. They're asking to spend some time with you and learn more about you. So you sit back and you agree, but then you interview them and see if they're the person that you're actually looking for, if they're the job candidate that you're actually going to hire for the job. You're not the person as the interviewer saying to yourself, let me prove to you how good of an interviewer I am or what my qualifications are. If you want to get to know me, that's with the assumption that I'm the person interviewing you. So I'm evaluating you because you're the one that wants access to me. If that's the case, well, let's sit back, relax, and we'll see what you got. Do some front flips for me, do some back flips for me, and let's see if you can really do this thing. If not, that's fine. There are plenty of other people in my life that are prepared to do the thing. If you can't do it or it's too hard for you, hey, It's fine with me. Someone else will gladly take your spot. It doesn't make me lose any sleep. Okay, right? Alchemy says self-esteem is good to have, especially in a relationship. Don't feel like he has to be your master and your second job is being at his beck call. Those women never get a ring. 100,000%. Do not feel, right? And this is not to say that you shouldn't care about people. You shouldn't, do things for your man, like your actual boyfriend or your actual husband that acknowledges that he's your boyfriend or acknowledges that he's your husband, not the guy you think is your man because that's what you want it to be, but he doesn't acknowledge that to other people, and not the guy you think is your husband, but when he goes out, he's perfectly 100% single. I'm talking about guys that actually acknowledge themselves to be in a relationship with you as well. There is nothing wrong with doing things for those men. But you need to understand at the very beginning, those are not those men, okay? Those are not the men that are yours that will claim you, that are claiming you to other people. Not yet. You need to work your way up to that before you start thinking about how much you're going to give and do for that guy. If he's not showing you that level of commitment, don't be thinking about how you're going to get on your hands and knees and scrub that floor for him, okay? I just need you guys to understand that because sometimes you guys do it backwards and you wonder why it doesn't work for you. Are you following me, right? And it's not about being so cold that even your husband doesn't have access to you or feel like you love him, but it's also not about being a maid that scrubs the floor for men who you just met and went on one date with that you only know from Hinge, and literally you don't even know his first name, all right? Or his real name for some of you, okay? Some of you are actually in a situation like that. Jess says, I get way too excited about the potential of someone. Listen, we've all been there, okay? And that's why we have this show, and that's why we talk about these things so that you can understand getting excited with potential and falling in love with potential never serves you. In fact, it makes your life a living hell because all you end up doing is trying to make something work with someone who is not what you're looking for, and you become frustrated that they're not what you're looking for, but you become invested, so you continue trying to make it work even though it's not working, and you just waste a whole bunch of time. So it's better to gain the ability to analyze people and understand how they really are rather than trying to force them to be what you imagined them or wanted them to be, okay? Aura says, is this live saved anywhere? It's always saved on my YouTube page. My YouTube page is on the top right of the screen. On TikTok, it's just my name. You type it in on YouTube, and I'm live right now on YouTube and TikTok at the same time. So you guys can always get access to the live stream. Just go into the live section and you'll see this episode there, okay? You can get it in the link. Sharice just said it for you there. So number one was to pace them. Number two is to not like them. Number three, this is stop pooping time, as we say in the chat, okay? This is get your hand out of your pants time because you really need to be paying attention. And I don't want you pooping or distracting yourself by doing anything else other than listening to me and paying attention to what I'm saying. Number three is fear. I've said this before on the show, and I never want you to forget it. If you really want men to give you princess treatment, you should not care about anything else in the relationship more than you care about these two things, respect and fear. Now, I'm not talking about fear that you're going to hit him or beat him. I'm not talking about fear that you're going to pull a knife on him or fear that you're going to, bleach all of his Jordans or his clothes or anything like that. I'm talking about the fear that, hey, while my partner loves me and cares about this relationship, if I were to act up, act crazy, start being disrespectful, start cheating, start going out of my way doing stuff that I know I shouldn't be doing, and I get caught doing that stuff, or I act, in a way that is not appropriate for this relationship or meeting her expectations, she will walk away from me and I will lose access to her forever because she has self-respect. And the thing about it is, that's a good kind of fear. It's the fear that, hey, I actually have to live up to expectations. And if I choose to do whatever it is I want, my partner is not just going to stand by idly, not say anything, and allow me to continue doing whatever it is I want and walking all over her. That is good fear because it's just enough of a fire underneath his butt that he continues feeling motivated to make good decisions. Let me give you an example of how good fear can be a good motivator. Let's say, for the sake of argument, a guy is you and a guy are dating, and this guy and his best guy friend is celebrating a birthday. His best guy friend celebrating his 26th birthday at the club. Him and all the other guys, they want to go out, they want to have fun, enjoy themselves. It's not a crime going to the club and celebrating a birthday. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, your man and his guy best friend go to the club with their group of guy friends. They get a booth, they get bottles, and they go to the club. Okay. And so they're enjoying themselves at the club. They're dancing, they're dancing in Glorilla. 7 p.m. Friday, 95 degrees. I ain't got ain't got me. That's what be playing in the club now. I don't know what the guys will be dancing at that point. But so let's just say that's playing in the club, right? And they're dancing up a storm. They got girls twerking on the single guys, other girls twerking on other guys. Everyone's having fun and enjoying themselves. And there's a girl who's eyeing your man. Meanwhile, you're at home, right? You're sitting at home, and before your man left, he said, I'll be back around, 2:30 when we finish at the club, and, everything will be all good. And you're like, cool, that's all good. That's fine. That's dandy, right? And you allowed him to go out to the club, and you trust him to handle his business. So he goes out to the club. He's having fun, enjoying himself. And towards the end of the night, a girl approaches him that's been, friends with the group of friends that have been around the group and stuff like that and talking to everyone. And she's like, oh, we're going to have an after party. And, I would love for you to come over. And if you wanted to stay the night, you can stay the night and all that good stuff. And, I just think you're kind of cute and blah, 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 whatever she might say to him. He might think to himself, gee, my boys are single. These girls are single. We're all having fun. It's a lit time. I know I was supposed to be home at 2:30, but if I go to an AP, spend maybe an extra 30 minutes, an hour or whatever, it's not like my girl will be super mad. I could do it, right? But this is what he also starts thinking. If I go over to her place, am I going to make a mistake here? If I go over to her place and I end up cheating, and I get an STI, and my girl finds out that I'm cheating because I have an STI and I give it to her, what's going to happen to our relationship? What's going to happen to me? What's even going to happen if I come home an hour later than I was supposed to? I'm going to have to deal with her. I'm going to have to answer to why I was out and all this other stuff that I don't want to deal with. And I have a subconscious fear that I'm going to get disciplined if I make some bad decisions here. So even though my partner's not standing right next to me, watching me make these decisions, I would rather avoid the possibility of making a mistake that could lead to me losing my partner or my partner being really unhappy with me to the point where she might walk away from me. I'd rather do the right thing when she's not around than make a wrong decision knowing that could lead to an outcome that I don't want. And you see how the way that you implant, as weird as it sounds, fear in a guy can subconsciously affect his decision making even when you're not around. And when you set that expectation and you set that foundation that you're not going to be sticking around if he's going to treat you however he wants to treat you, you set that precedent that when he goes out and he's facing temptation, that becomes like the slap in the face and like the little fire that reminds him, hey, little boy, I know you're horned up and I know she's got a big booty and I know she's got the tightest pair of jeans in here and I know you really, really want to go do something and spend some time at that AP. But think about what you're risking by doing that, because your partner's not gonna deal with that if you get caught. And then that other voice starts saying, probably. Guys, enjoy yourselves, boys. I love you. Get home safe. I gotta go back to my girl. Oh, you're no fun, bro. Come on, AP. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Yeah, wifey, she's not going for that. Yeah, no, she's not going for that. I gotta go home, right? And that's what guys end up understanding, right? The guys that are in long-term relationships at the end of the day, right? They understand that they have a subconscious fear that, hey, I can't just do whatever I want. This isn't a free-for-all. I'm in a relationship because there are boundaries, standards, and expectations that I have to live up to every day. And if I'm not prepared to live up to those boundaries, standards, and expectations, then I might as well be single because I ain't gonna have her, right? And so I say all of that and I give you that whole example to help you understand this is what men secretly secretly want from you, they're just not going to tell you, I want to fear the fact that you would leave me if I were to treat you badly. Okay? Because why would a guy come out and tell you, hey, please make me in fear of the fact that if I were to treat you badly, you'll walk away from me so that I can respect you and be motivated to do the right thing? They're not going to tell you that. Okay? Right? They're not going to say that to you. But in reality, when you give them that fear and you allow it to be a motivator for them to continue doing the right thing, it actually allows them to be motivated internally and externally, I guess you could say as well, to do the right thing when it comes time to make decisions. And you actually, in the weirdest way, I know that it sounds really strange and really weird, in the weirdest way, you actually make it easier for guys in your life to make good decisions because they have that external motivation from the fear that if they don't do the right thing, then there will be consequences for that, right? Because it's a lot easier to make bad decisions when you have nobody to be accountable to, right? When you have nobody to answer to and you have nobody to explain yourself to, it's a lot easier to just do whatever you want, make horrible decisions, even if they're horrible decisions for you. It's a lot harder to make horrible decisions when you have to go and be accountable to someone and say out loud or admit out loud the horrible decisions that you made. Why do you think they suggest that if you want to start working out and you want to start losing weight or going to the gym, that you get an accountability partner? That way, when you're feeling like eating a whole bunch of chocolate or eating McDonald's or not working out that day, you have to answer to someone why you didn't work out that day. Because it's easy to give yourself the excuse, sit at home and be lazy and not mind anything. It's a lot more painful to be lazy knowing that when I have to come and be accountable to my accountability partner, that we're supposed to be going to the gym all together and stuff like that, we're supposed to be on this journey together, and I have to tell my accountability partner that, yeah, I didn't go today because I was just feeling lazy, it's going to make me look horrible. So I'd rather avoid the shame than, and go to the gym than not go to the gym and have to explain the fact that I was just being lazy and not doing what I was supposed to be doing. Are you following me, right? So it can be very important to give men that fear so that they can be motivated to do the right thing. Does that make sense to you guys so far, right? Kendall says, why do we always have to be everybody's mom? Guys, I want you to understand, I'm not telling you to be someone's mother. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not even telling you that you should be on a guy's phone asking him every second, are you doing the right thing? Are you making the right decision? Are you not allowing girls to dance on you? Are you going to an AP? Are you drinking with the boys? Where are you right now? Send me your location right now. That is not what I'm telling you to do at all. What I'm telling you to do is show men from the very beginning that you have standards. That the men in your life who mistreat you or don't give you the princess treatment that you expect in a relationship do not get any access to you, right? Show him that you have standards, that if he makes the mistake of treating you horribly or disrespecting you or going out of bounds or crossing the boundaries of yours, then he will completely lose access to you. That's not being someone's mom, because you're not going to be rechecking in with him every 20 seconds to make sure he's still doing the right thing. You let him know what the boundaries, standards, and expectations are. And if he crosses those things, he faces those consequences. Okay? You don't re-explain yourself. You don't chase after him. You don't become his mother. You don't text him every 20 seconds to make sure he's doing the right thing. You just let it be known what you expect. And if he doesn't live up to those things, he doesn't get access to you. Okay? Right? You're not someone's mother, and you never should be. Okay? Lexi says, what if he doesn't reach out? What do you say? After you set boundaries, what does that mean? That means he doesn't respect those boundaries and he doesn't respect you. Okay? Right? He doesn't respect you. And Sweet said something that someone else brought up. How do we instill in him that fear? A great way that I tell you guys to instill in a guy fear, especially from the very beginning. And as he learns you, he'll begin to understand that there are consequences for crossing boundaries. But a great way to do this at the very beginning, when you're first getting started, is to use stories. Okay? So you use stories, like Sweet just said, you use stories of the graveyard that exists of the men that once thought they could disrespect you, abuse you, use you, or take advantage of you, and what ended up happening to them after they thought they could play with you. And story time, when you're on these first and second dates, these are great stories to tell guys instead of wasting your time just having him compliment you about how pretty you are. When it is your turn to talk or he does ask you questions, story time is a great thing to interweave in your answers to your questions that serves the purpose of showing him that, hey, when men try me, they don't win. Right? They don't get to continue having access to me after they show me disrespect. Once they show me disrespect and they get to a certain threshold, there is no coming back for them. And here lies the graveyard of all the men who thought they could play with me and still get access to me after playing with me. And when you're telling those stories, right, he's just thinking that you're saying it in a way where you're just telling him your experience. But how he's actually receiving it is, oh, if I do that same thing, I'm going to end up in the same place as those men. And I don't want to end up in the same place as those men. So maybe I should be thinking about acting and standing up straight and doing the right thing. Maybe I shouldn't be bringing the same type of BS that those men bring, because if I do, I'll end up in the same place as those men. It's the same reason why I tell you guys, right? And the same reason why I tell you guys, don't be telling guys all the ways that a man in your life or an ex in your life has mistreated you, abused you so badly, and all you did was continue to take him back. Because all that's going to show him is that when a guy treats you really badly and really horribly, you just take him back. Okay. Late says, what do you do when you set the boundaries? He comes back but keeps messing up. Then you end it. See, if you're someone that has a problem or an issue cutting people off, then that's the issue you need to be solving, because that's what you should be doing. If you tell someone a boundary or explain it to them and make it clear to them and they continue to cross it, you just cut them off. You don't wait for people to, take you on a hamster wheel of, going through the same mistake over and over again, and you just forgive them over and over again, hoping that it'll eventually change. You have to come to a point where you say, it's time for me to cut you off because clearly you haven't learned anything. Okay. And you can't feel bad about cutting people off who can't learn how to not cross your boundaries. Okay. Right. And especially because at that point, sorry, I'm just trying to get my Aquaphor. Where did it go? Oh, it's right there. At that point, it just becomes disrespectful and a show of the fact that they don't respect your boundaries and don't care enough to respect your boundaries, which is why they continue to do the thing. Okay. Late says, but I love him. That's exactly why you don't make exceptions for anyone. And I've talked about this before. Everyone gets treated the same. Doesn't matter who you are. And you have to approach men that you're not special because I like you. I can still like you and love you and acknowledge that I want you and want to be with you, but you're not special because, I spend a lot of time with you and I like you a lot. Because when guys start to feel like they're so special that they're above the law, they start acting like they're above the law. You following me, right? You don't want that. So number one was to pace them. Number two was to not like them, as weird as it sounds. Number three was fear. Number four, weirdest one, but I promise you it'll work when you do it the right way. Number four is to treat them like a dog. I know this sounds really stupid. I know it makes no sense. And I know that it even sounds horrible in the way that I say it. You need to treat men like a dog. Now, specifically what I'm talking about, I'm not talking about like him actually being a dog. What I mean is you need to understand that there is something really powerful about subconscious reinforcement and a feedback loop. Let me explain this to you. I know it's not making sense yet. See, I know that it's probably very easy for you to be upset about something a guy does, be sad about it and complain about it and be angry about it and show him your sadness and cry and tell him why you're upset. That's probably pretty easy for you. However, what's not as obvious, and a lot of times what you're not going to be doing in your relationships, what you need to be doing in your relationships, you need to make sure that when he does do the things that you want, that you give him this really positive feedback loop. And this is why I say you want to treat him like a dog, because you need to make it almost over the top when you see him do what you want and you show him appreciation the same way you would appreciate a puppy that you're really happy with. So let me give you an example of what I mean. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, you really like when a guy buys you flowers. And you enjoy that when a guy buys you flowers, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like a princess, and you just love that, and you appreciate that a lot. See, the thing about it is, it's easy to be mad at him when you're mad at him and explain why you're mad at him and all this stuff. But what you forget to do a lot of times is, when you really want a guy that buys you flowers, he gets you flowers, and you're sitting there with the flowers like, oh, thank you. That's so sweet. And you appreciate the flowers. It's not that you don't appreciate the flowers, but you don't realize that outwardly your expression is just, oh, that's so sweet. Thank you for the flowers. I appreciate that. And you kind of, like put them away, right? And you never really mention it or talk about it ever again. And even though you're appreciative of it, and even though you enjoyed it, and even though you think it's sweet, and even if you tell your girlfriends, you don't realize that you didn't give him a lot of positive feedback for the thing that he did. So see, this is the weird part, and that's why I said you got to treat him like a dog, and you got to go over the top, because he starts to think to himself, okay, I got her flowers, but the response I get wasn't as crazy or insane or intense. So maybe she didn't really care that much. Maybe it wasn't really that important. Maybe it didn't really matter to her that much, right? So when I say treat him like a dog, this is what I want you to do instead. And I know this sounds dumb, but I'm telling you, this is so powerful. So when he gets you those flowers, and you know that this is an action that you want to continue and you want him to do all the time, you say, oh my God, thank you so much. And these are the exact type of flowers that I've always been wanting. How did you know that those are what I want? Oh, baby, I was listening to you, and, I remember how you were saying you like the tulips and, you like the purple ones. So I was at the flower shop and I got you flowers, and you give him a big hug. You're like, oh my God, baby, I love you so much. You're the best. Oh my God, look at these flowers. They're so beautiful. And you just go over the top with it. I know it sounds so ridiculous. I know that it does. But I promise you, this is what's happening in his brain when you're doing that. He's like, oh my God, they're just flowers, but look how happy she is. Bro, you going crazy with it, yo. You are the best boyfriend ever, bro. Like, how is she going to live without you? You're literally the man. Like, look how happy she is. You got her those flowers. So you want to know what's going to happen the next time he's thinking about, oh, what should I do for her? Or what should I get her? Or thinking about how to make you happy or improve your mood or do things for you. He's going to be thinking back to that time where he felt so good about taking the action of going and getting you flowers. So now it's at the top of his brain of things to be doing, because it's a memorable experience. It's an impactful experience. I always tell you guys, people don't remember what you say. They only remember how you make them feel. So when you make someone feel so appreciated for even a small action, it becomes such a memorable experience for them. So then they're more likely to do it again, because it's such a memorable experience for them, as opposed to vice versa, when the experience for them and the feedback that they get when they give the flowers is, oh, these are really nice. I like them. Right? And you put them away, versus the experience of you, hugging him and telling him how much you love it, and then bringing it up for the rest of the day. And he's like, girl, it was just flowers. I didn't know that it was, but you make him feel so good about the gifting and the thoughtfulness of the flowers, that all he can do whenever he thinks back to the times where he felt the best with you, or the times where he felt the best about the relationship, he always thinks back to the thing that he did for you when he felt really good about the relationship. So now that becomes a really memorable feeling that he can't shake, so he continues to do that thing. And so I say that to say, when you treat them like a dog in that way, where you make sure to appreciate them or show them that affectionate appreciation like you would a dog, right? And you make them feel appreciated, for what they're doing for you, especially when it comes to princess treatment and treating you how you want to be treated in the relationship, it becomes a really impactful and memorable feeling that they can't shake or forget. And so they become more likely to continue doing that thing. Okay. I know that it sounds really strange, and you're thinking, Tomisin, if I tell him that I like it, that I like those things, and he does those things why do I have to go over the top? It just seems so childish and so immature. But I need you to understand. See, what people won't admit to you is that, yes, we all like to give, and we like to think of ourselves as amazing human beings that are so generous and so kind and so loving. But the reality of it is, even when you give to someone, even when you do something for someone out of the kindness of your heart, it actually does something for you when you give to someone and they seem so appreciative of what you just did. When you give someone $10,000, even though you just did it out of the kindness of your heart and you don't want anything from them, when they're on their knees crying, saying, "Oh my God, I never expected this and I have so much bills to pay and this is really going to help me out and this is so life-changing and I can't thank you enough and you're an angel sent from heaven." You have to realize that that does something for you and that does something to you. Even though you're not asking for that or necessarily seeking that, it's always going to do something to you. So I say that to say, when men do something for you, even though it might be small and even though you might be thinking, why should I go out of my way to make him feel extra appreciative just for doing something that he's supposed to do? You have to understand that when you allow him to receive that appreciation from you, even though you might think it's useless and dumb and silly, that does something for him. And he remembers that feeling he got. And so whenever he wants to recreate that feeling again, because it felt so good, he does that thing again. Okay? So never forget that when you're treating them like a dog, that kind of goes hand in hand. You want to make sure that you punish him and you tell him he's a bad boy and show him he's a bad boy whenever he does the wrong thing. But you also want to make sure that you make it very clear when he's doing the right thing. You give that positive reinforcement that this is the right thing. You don't have to tell him that, oh, this is the right thing, keep doing that, but you make him feel that. You make him feel that, okay? Right? Kelly says, my little brother who is married pulls these games on me like we're dating. Your little brother? You from Alabama? No, I'm just joking. So Sweet says, appreciate him and make him afraid. LOL. Yeah, see, it goes hand in hand, right? It goes hand in hand and it all works the same. Okay. Does that make sense to you guys? I know that it sounds silly and I know that it sounds dumb and I know that it sounds like it doesn't make any sense, but I promise you, when you try it and you implement it, you will see a lot of results that way. And you'll be surprised when men continue not just doing good things for you once, but they continue doing good things for you over and over again. You'll be shocked, right? People love to do things out of the kindness of their heart, but they even love it more when you can make them feel so appreciated whenever they do those things, okay? Rosie says, naturally, we would appreciate if we get treated well. Of course, but sometimes the reason I talk about this is because sometimes you're yourself, right? So you know what you're feeling and what you're thinking in your mind, but you don't realize what you're outwardly projecting. And sometimes what you're thinking in your mind and all the appreciation you have in your mind is not outwardly projected. The problem with that is the guy that you're in a relationship with doesn't know what's in your mind. He only sees what you're outwardly projecting. So when you receive the flowers and you're thinking in your mind, oh my God, I love the flowers so much. This is so amazing. This is the best day ever. But you're only saying, thanks, I really love them. And you're just moving on with your day like you don't really care. He's not thinking what you're thinking. He's thinking in his mind, damn, I guess she doesn't really care about those flowers, right? Even though you do, and even though you love them, and even though you might go and tell your girlfriend that your man got you flowers, okay? But he doesn't know that because you don't outwardly project that. So that's why I'm talking about this, so that you can be aware what you're outwardly projecting is so important to the feedback loop that he's receiving from you whenever he does those things. And men want you to do that because it makes them feel good about doing good things for you. They love to give princess treatment, of course, but they love for giving princess treatment even more when they can feel good about giving princess treatment to you and feel like they're the man for giving princess treatment to you. You have to do something for him to do something for you, to do something for him to do something for you. It's like it's a feedback loop on both sides, okay? Never forget that. And a lot of times you don't realize it, but doing something for yourself is doing something for him subconsciously. Not physically scrubbing the floor, but it's doing something for him subconsciously to reinforce good habits and to downplay and suppress bad habits, okay? You'd never forget that. This is kind of deep in psychology here, but as you get better and as you join the Players Club more and as you learn more about what we discuss in here, it'll all start to make sense to you. And when you get the chance to implement it, you'll be like, oh, I should have been doing this way sooner. This is so good. This is such amazing. So amazing. Okay, does that make sense to you guys so far? So do you guys have any questions about the 4 that we discussed today? So it was to pace them. It was to not like them. Fear. And then we had treat them like a dog. Treat them like a dog. Okay. Do you guys have any questions about what we just discussed? Lala says, what if the flowers are cheap, ugly flowers that look a few days old? I can't help my face. Well, Lala, see, whenever you want something or you want men to continue feeling encouraged to do more for you, you have to be focused on encouraging the small good behavior so that he can continue to feel encouraged to do more and more and more. I 100% can guarantee you the opposite is true. The moment you start not showing appreciation for small gestures of good behavior, he will not be encouraged to continue to do more. And I'm not saying that it's your fault, but you just have to understand that feedback loop is telling him subconsciously, I just went out of my way to do something for the person, and the person doesn't even appreciate me. And they might not even necessarily want money back or something, a gift in return, but they do want subconsciously the appreciation. So when they don't feel that, or they feel a lack of that, or they feel like disinterest when they give that to you, they're going to be saying in their own mind subconsciously, I'm never going to do that again. And I'm never going to go out of my way to do that for that person again. And so Lala, if you don't like the flowers, or you think that they're cheap, or you think that they're old, sure, you can express that and be true to yourself, but don't be shocked why the guy that you're dating then doesn't want to do anything else for you in the future and wants to basically like never go out of his way for you in the future. You'll be confused why those guys don't want to go out of your way for you when that's really the truth of why he doesn't want to go out of his way for you. Okay. Nicole donates $5 in the super chat. Super generous today, Nicole. I appreciate you so much for your donations. Nicole says, how do we do this without him thinking he's the only guy who ever did this for us? Okay, this is a good question. Right? So you can show someone appreciation without making them feel like, I've never gotten this ever before. I don't need you when you show someone appreciation for example, getting you flowers to say, oh my God, you're the only man in my life to ever get me flowers. And I also need you to understand that men aren't thinking when you show them appreciation, oh, she's showing me this appreciation because she's never gotten this before. Okay. That doesn't need to be the thing. See, when your men are giving something to you or doing something for you, they're only thinking about your response. Right. So I just want you to think of it like this. If I am someone, if there's a homeless person in LA, let's just say, for example, and through the span of the time that this person has been homeless, someone has come along and given him $1,000 before. And one day I'm feeling really generous and I come around and I give this homeless person $1,000 now. So that homeless person theoretically could have received $1,000 twice. But even if that $1,000 came a year ago, and he's still appreciative of the fact that, hey, oh my God, thank you so much. I appreciate this $1,000. God bless you. You're the best person ever. And I'm so glad that you came into my life and I really needed this and this really helps me out, man. You have to understand when that person is appreciating me for giving that $1,000, I'm not thinking to myself, oh, they're doing it because I'm the first person to give me $1,000. I'm only thinking about the fact that, hey, I did something nice for the person and I'm receiving that appreciation in return. Right? So don't be so hyper worried about showing a lot of appreciation when someone does something for you that you're thinking, oh, he's going to think that I'm not used to this, right? Don't worry about that. That's not what men are going to be receiving from that interaction. Now, if you come out and start telling him all these stories about how your ex treated you like garbage and how a man has never done anything for you and all the men in your life have only ever used you and abused you and thrown you away and thrown you in the dumpster and treated you like nothing, then he's going to be thinking, oh, so anything I do for her is going to be amazing. Okay. That's what you don't want. You don't want men thinking that they're the first guy to treat you like a princess. You want them to be thinking that that's what you expect. And the reason your exes are exes is because they thought they could treat you like anything less than. That's what you want to be presenting to guys. You understand what I'm saying? I hope that answers your question, Nicole. Okay. Does that make sense to you guys? Patty says, we talk like it's a man thing, but damn, I'd never give flowers again to someone who isn't appreciative. It's very true. It's very true, right? It's a human thing. But like I say, sometimes when we're doing it, we don't realize ourselves that what we're outwardly expressing when someone does something for us is not the same as the appreciation we feel in our mind. So it's not because we don't care about it or we don't care about the person. It's simply because we don't realize that not expressing ourselves or not making sure that person feels our appreciation actually gives them a negative feedback loop. Okay, right? Rosie said, so we communicate that this is our standard and gracefully and appreciative. Yes. So you can, guys, remember, you can always do both and there's always a balance to everything. So you can communicate that this is your standard, but you can still show appreciation when someone does that thing for you. Imagine like being a sugar baby, right? And you're a sugar baby. I'm not saying any of you are. Maybe some of you are. But imagine being a sugar baby. Even a sugar daddy is going to want to feel appreciation when he comes out of $1,000 for his sugar baby. He's not going to want his sugar baby when he gives her $1,000 to say, damn, my other sugar daddy would give me 10,000. I mean, unless he has a degrading kink, most sugar daddies are going to be like, bruh, like I'm giving you that money because I love you and I want you to spend money and I want you to be good. But like, I also want to be appreciated for being your damn sugar daddy. Like, I don't want you, like you're talking about, damn, my other sugar daddy gave me more money. You only going to give me 1,000? Well, like, and now I feel like, why am I continuing to give you money when I do give you money, I only get pooped on, right? You have to understand what that does to people and how that affects them in any capacity. So you really have to be cognizant of that in your relationship, especially if you want to reinforce good behavior and reinforce princess treatment as something that should be ongoing. Does that make sense? All right, guys, in chat, and women and souls, it's time. It's time, that time. Tell me in the chat, do you know what time it is? Tell me in the chat, do you know what time it is? In the chat right now, I want you to spam what time it is if you're unsure. If you're unsure what the time is. I think the rest of the chat is going to make you aware right now. Because I know some of you new people. When I ask you what time it is, you're going to be telling me 12:15, 12:30. 12:22, right? 12:36. You're going to be saying it's this time, it's that time. You're going to be looking at your watch. You're going to be looking at the clock. You're going to be looking at your phone. None of those are correct. It's a very special time, a time for you to laugh and cry, a time for you to be over the moon and in the lagoon. Okay? We're going to have some fun here. We're going to learn some. We're going to learn a lot, actually. And we're hopefully not going to repeat the same mistakes again. You're probably still confused. I'll let you know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, chat. Let's get serious here. It's time to hop into the Discord. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Discord time is an amazing time. It's where all the amazing members of the Discord get an opportunity to ask me questions about their relationship or their situationship in our Discord, and I answer them live on the show, okay? Think of it like Reddit, but Reddit, our own personal Reddit, okay? And everyone else in the chat can comment. They can comment on the post. They can comment in the forum and all that good stuff. Now, there's two ways you can submit your question, and I'll answer it live on the show. The first way is to submit actually, there's three ways now. The first way is to submit it in the relationship advice free section in our Discord, which you access through the link in our bio or the link in my description on YouTube. If you're on TikTok, it's the link in my bio. And all you got to do is fill out your question in the format that it says here. Now, I'll warn you, when you drop your question into the free relationship advice section, it's going to take me about a month to answer it because I have to do first come, first serve for all these other ones. I got to do this one too today. It's pretty long. And all these other questions because I got to do the oldest ones first before I get to yours. But if you're impatient, I have another option for you in order to ask your your question and get it answered sooner than 30 days. You can hop into Relationship Advice Premium, which is essentially like a VIP pass at a theme park where you get the opportunity to skip the line because I go to Relationship Advice Premium first before I go to anything else. And if you want to skip the line, all you got to do is donate to the show by going into the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube. And you'll be able to donate to the show where it says Relationship Advice Premium. You donate to the show, you ask your, you put your Discord username and the title of your question, you ask it, and then I will answer it on the show. You get to skip that line, okay? So today, oh, by the way, and this is the thing that a lot of other people have been using as well now. If you don't want to put your question in the Discord, that's perfectly fine. And you just want to ask it to me personally because you're like, Tomisin, I'm a little bit nervous about putting my question out there for everyone to see. You can also ask your question in our privately to me by going to the link in my bio, the same link in my bio on TikTok, and the link is in the description as well. And you can ask me private relationship advice just by filling out a form. And when you fill out the form, it's going to submit it, and you submit it, it's going to come to me, and then I will answer your question via voice message, and I'll send it back to you directly through your email. Nobody else will see it. Okay, so you have options. So today, I think we did all of our Discord, our premium questions from yesterday. And so now let me make sure I did this one right. Now all we have to do is the ones from today. I thought I saw a couple. Let me just make sure that I'm not missing any, because I thought I saw a couple in here that I may have missed. I want to make sure that my chat is not wrong here. Okay, so I think we did it. Spam it in the chat if there's a glitch or something like that. But I think that I did it. That I did them all. Okay, so now we have the free questions to go to here, and we're gonna do some of these free questions. Perfect. Today's Friday, so we got some time, and this one is long. So guys, buckle up. Okay, so we're gonna start off with Sana. Sana says, I don't need an advice about a man. I want to clear some confusions about dating. Okay, interesting. I'm 22. I have had 2 relationships in the past. Both of the men were narcissistic and abusive, so I left the situation and blocked the men. I never had pineapples in my life. After the last relationship, I went on dates. The men treated me well and paid for me and my stuff, but they would never align with what I want. Like once, this dude straight up joked about how women shouldn't have body hair, and if they should shave, and if they did, they should shave it every day or get it waxed every day. I got the ick straight away and I cut him off. Perfectly fine. He would follow me, but I told him that I am not really looking for anything with him. He seems disrespectful and didn't respect my boundaries. Perfectly fine. Then another dude took me out on a date. He was perfect, like literally like the dude I wanted. But when I went on a date, how can a guy be perfect before you meet him? Because you're saying when you went on a date that it wasn't perfect. That means he was never perfect. And that was never him. That was your idea of him. He seemed very disinterested, like straight up said, I waited for you. Wait, what? I usually don't wait for that long. I was like, what? I even asked this question in the chat in the YouTube in one of your live streams, and someone said he sounds abusive. More things he did gave me the ick, where he was posting horned up stuff online on Twitter. What? And Insta, he would get a lot of thirsty comments from women on not gonna lie, the question thing there were users are anon. Oh, are you so sorry? Let me rephrase what she was trying to say. She was saying the guy would post like, oh, send me an anonymous question, ask me a question, and people would ask him a bunch of horned up type of questions when they sent him in on Twitter. That's what she's trying to say, I believe. I find, not gonna lie, ask me a question stuff stupid. I'm not a big social media person. I keep myself off Insta mostly. My Insta is deactivated, and I just use it to post a snap or something like that if I'm going out. So I post So I like posting stuff or like doing something in places I like. That's it. And one day he even asked me about why are women so pineapple-y with him? He's asking you that? He's asking you that? Someone says, what does pineapples mean? Pineapples means sex. We just can't say it on, we're on TikTok and YouTube. Okay, so we don't want to be saying that too much. Like he would be having normal conversations with someone, and the girl would be pretty horned up with him. Like the women don't like it when men say guys are pineapple-y with you because you post stuff. So I didn't want to say something like that. But I still said that maybe it is the posts. Continuing, so he said he doesn't add everyone to his private Twitter, but his Insta was also filled with thirst traps and really pineapple-y stuff, which icked me, to be honest. Okay, we're getting to a point here, Sana, where if you're acknowledging all the different ways where the guy that's talking to you or trying to talk to you is icking you out and not the guy you're looking for, or doesn't, have the same lifestyle that you want to have in a relationship with a guy, then the answer to your question becomes very easy. Just leave him alone and stop talking to him. Don't entertain him. Don't follow him. Don't check his stuff. Move your life forward. Why continue to focus so much of your energy on what a guy is doing who's not in line with what you want? Okay? Not to be mean, but like you're like acknowledging so much of why he's not what you want. So what's the point? And once he said, you hesitate a lot with these things, he was referring to pineapple-y stuff, which I acted dumb and just made him think like I don't know what he means by that. But then I cut him off because I just don't think he aligns with what I want. Perfect. Then it should be done. He once asked me, what is wrong with you? You deactivated your account, and I didn't reply to him. And when I reactivated it, he removed me, which I understand. But when another guy approached me, he was like down bad, like a literal simp. But certain things he said were not what I wanted in a guy. Okay, so then don't talk to the guy. Like he had this victim mentality. Oh, men always get effed. And like he said, the girls like me would go for toxic men, and then when they mess up with us, you guys won't give us a chance to make men like us who are willing to treat you right. Oh, okay. Where are you going to meet all these type of men? I'm curious. I got the narcissistic vibes from him though. The love bombing and stuff, and like telling some personal stuff like the death of his family members. I don't think he was lying about this though. And he said that I was the only one he told those things to. After a while, I started getting very uncomfy with him, like anxious. So I told him I don't want him. He then said he just wants to be friends with me and that I could fix him. What? Anytime guys that were trying to date you or you were trying to do something with ever suggest friendship, just ignore it and move on. It's a waste of your time. And he was in my class. Once again, ignore it, move on. Don't waste your time. You're not going to be friends with this guy. I told him I don't fix people and I don't like being friends with men, as you should. And then he spammed me with texts that, are you mad at me? After a month, which is understandable, I told him I don't want to be friends with him. And then, hello, I just read and didn't reply. Am I treating men like garbage? I'm on my healing journey and your channel has helped me a lot. Am I the problem here? No. No. I really want to understand a lot of things. I do want to build a romantic relationship with someone and get married. I have a career path, and I'm sure with what I want in my career and my life, I have passions of cooking, and I love reading self-development books, and I love to know about the psychology of people. Nowadays, I love to learn about psychology of people and even the dynamics of feminine and masculine. I really, really want to be sure of the men I really want, because these men haven't met the standards yet, and I keep cutting them off. Should I change something? No. I think you might say, I do get anxious and uncomfy with men because of my past experiences with the two of my exes. I have done shadow work, mirror work, but the men like this keep coming in my life. I want masculine men, and they're healthy masculine, who take accountability of their past relationships and are trying to better themselves and are secure in themselves. I'm done with the bums, to be honest. I want him to spoil me, and I am spoiled even by these men, don't get me wrong, but I really want someone that aligns with what I want. I'm the woman I wanted to be. These are certain things I am learning how to completely align myself to the woman I want to manifest to be. I am close. Maybe then I will be pursued by the guy I want. I really want to figure out if I'm the problem or not. Am I an avoidant? Some of my friends tell me that I get entitled and I don't treat these men very nicely and I cut them off. Okay, don't worry about what anyone says about you being mean. Who cares? Okay, people can say you'll be mean. If they think you're too mean, go be with someone who will let them do whatever they want. Don't worry yourself about people saying you're mean. Who cares? The second thing that I want to make you aware of, don't worry about the fact that the guys that you have experienced before have not lived up to your standard. That doesn't mean that you have to lower your standards. Now, what I will say, though, is if you continue to meet the same type of guy over again, you need to start reconsidering maybe the strategy you're taking to meeting your new people, right? So just for the sake of example, I don't know if this is true, but just for the sake of example, let's say you've mostly met the men that you started dating on Hinge, okay? And every time you meet a guy on Hinge, you end up meeting a very similar type of guy, a narcissist, someone who's just not what you want. And if you want to change that, then you have to change the environment in which you're meeting these men. So if it's been Hinge, then you probably are going to want to get off of Hinge and stop meeting men there. If it's been Bumble, Tinder, you're probably going to want to get off of there. If it's been Instagram DM, you're probably going to want to stop getting out of there. If it's been the bar or the club, probably going to want to start changing. Wherever it's been that you normally meet the guys that you meet, you probably want to switch that up. Now, if you want to start meeting a whole different type of guy, my advice to you is to start doing something that you've never done before. So if you're talking about like, oh, you really like psychology, either join a book club that reads up on psychology or some things that you can do with psychology, have some fun, play some games, some sort of community you can join where people are into that. I don't know. There's lots of stuff out there for you. But find something that you would already enjoy doing in your spare time, even if it wasn't for the sake of like meeting guys, but just go there and do that, where it's a place where you can build with a community of people and be in a community of people that are like-minded. You're going to enjoy your time there, and you're going to meet, because you're doing something new and you're putting yourself in a new environment, you're going to meet a new type of guy, okay? Part of the issue when you're meeting the same type of people over and over again is because you're staying in the same type of environment. So it becomes very hard to meet drastically different people when your environments are very, just very small and very similar. Okay. And so that's what you need to do if you want to start meeting a new type of guy. Okay. And in terms of your standards and being too mean and stuff like that, you haven't been. If guys don't meet your standards or expectations, that's fine. Those are your standards and expectations for a reason. So if you have higher standards than most girls, that's perfectly fine. Then you're going to be with someone that lives up to those higher standards. The rest of the girlies who have low standards and are okay with doing whatever for men, and the men don't have to do anything for them, they can have all those men that you don't want. So you don't have to start thinking to yourself, oh, because it hasn't been working out for me, that I need to start lowering my standards so that I can be meeting the guys where they actually are. Because you're only going to end up accepting someone into your life that is less than what you want. And even if you end up with that person, you're going to become frustrated with the relationship that you have, because you're going to say, this is not what I want and this is not how I want to be treated. So keep on doing what you're doing. You keep being mean. If people say that you're mean, that just means, a lot of times when people say you're mean, that just means you have self-respect and standards, okay? And that's what people usually mean when they say that you're being mean, because if you don't have self-respect and you have no standards, you're a lot easier to get along with, because people don't have to worry about meeting any expectations, okay? So don't worry about that. There will be men that take a relationship with you seriously and are more of your vibe and more of your stride and can meet you where you already exist, and you'll be in a relationship with that guy. Never forget this. Please never forget this. When you're in search of a relationship or you're going to eventually be in one, you're not going to end up in a relationship with all 4 billion men in the world, okay? You're only looking for one man. So don't get frustrated because a lot of the guys you meet aren't who you're looking for. Remind yourself that it doesn't have to be every single guy that you meet. It only has to be one of them. And especially if you're not giving away pineapples to these guys, you're walking away scot-free. Of course, you're spending a little bit of your time and investment, but when you're able to realize very quickly they're not what you want, you waste very little time going on to the next person, realizing that's not what I'm looking for. I learned a little bit maybe, but that's not what I'm looking for. One step closer to finding what I am looking for now. Okay? So just think of it like that. It only needs to be one guy. It doesn't have to be every single one. All right? Next we have here, let's see. That was the long one that I kept skipping because it was long. Let me do, right? Oh, no, that wasn't the, yeah. Yeah, that was the long one. So this next one, this one was deleted. Okay. Oh yeah, you sent in a donation. Okay, so please, perfect roast. No, we did this one. We did perfect roast. Confused men. This is a short one. So Riri says, is Riri Rihanna? Because I seen a Rihanna earlier in the chat. Riri says, why do men date women they are not interested in? This is actually a short but really good question, and I know some of you are confused about that. Let me make this very simple. See, when men begin to build with you, remember how I always talk about setting the foundation because that's going to represent the rest of the relationship? See, when they learn very early on that you're the type of girl that will deal with a lot, take a lot, and not have to get a lot back in return, sometimes those men even end up dating women, right? Because they realize, even when I date you, I can continue to take advantage of you, push boundaries, do whatever I want. And even when you catch me in the act, it's not like you're going to do anything about it. So let me give you a more specific example. See, if I'm dating someone and I know that even if I cheat on them and even if they find out, they're just going to forgive me and take me back. I might even date that person because when I'm dating them, right, they might acknowledge that we're dating. When I go out though, I'm never going to acknowledge that we're dating. I'm in fact going to tell everyone that I'm single, but it's not going to matter because even if she finds out, it's not like she's going to break up with me. She's too desperate. And even if she finds out that I'm cheating on her with another girl, it's not like she's going to break up with me. She's too desperate. I just give her the title of we're dating so that she can, shut up and I can continue to take advantage of her and she can feel like she's getting something even though she's not getting anything. But she'll be too invested in me and invested in this relationship to actually gain some self-respect and realize this isn't actually a real relationship. So sometimes guys end up dating girls that they don't even really want and because they don't even acknowledge dating them or acknowledge a relationship with them. And the thing about it is that it's not actually dating because the girl is the only one that thinks that they're dating. Okay. So when we're talking about why do men date girls they're not interested in, they're not actually dating them. It's just that the girl believes that they're dating, but that's not what the guy believes. Okay. I know it sounds weird. I know it sounds horrible, but that's the honest truth. And so that is the case sometimes with guys who are trying to take crazy advantage of you. Thank you also to Percy, who's going crazy, donating roses in the TikTok chat. And thank you to A Drizzle and Rebecca, who donated lots and lots of coins. I love you guys so much. I appreciate all your donations. Let's head over into the next question here. We got time today to do some. We definitely gonna get caught up on some of these right here, okay? For sure. So Cece says, is he the player that he looks like? Okay, let's see. Cece says, is he the player that he looks like? Hello, Thompson. Thank you for your platform. It's helping me keep my head on straight. Thank you for also responding to my last post about the Christian dating app. To clear up, I haven't spoken to the guy since then. I only have given him 2 weeks to ask me out on a date instead of one because I was preoccupied with this guy that I'm about to talk about. This is about to be long, so buckle in, but I really need your help so I don't misstep. We can call this guy the Nigerian artist. Oh no. I also met this guy on the same Christian dating app. For anyone who wants to know, it's called Upward. This guy wasn't my typical type, but I figured why not give it a chance? I was occupied with talking to someone else at this point, so when I was interacting with him, I wasn't really focused on our conversation at first, but our conversation did flow, and eventually he asked for my number after 2 or 3 days. I gave it to him, and he immediately messaged me, and we got to texting. He planned to set up a date for the end of the week. I was excited about it because we did have a really good convo, and I was kind of excited to go on a date in general. During that same week, we got a phone call. During that same week, we got on a phone call and had a really great conversation until he brought up pineapples. This made my stomach drop, my head turn, and I got very quiet. He goes on a rant about how if he's in a relationship with someone, he would expect to be having pineapples. Mind you, chat, this is a guy she met on a Christian dating app. Okay, just for context. He asked me if I would be willing to do that if I were to get into a relationship with him since I'm a virgin. He recognized that because I was a virgin and I've held out for so long, it would be unlikely that I would easily engage with him. I'm a virgin simply because I'm waiting till marriage for God because I love and respect God. Most men I meet prove me that they are not worth giving it to. Fair. Honestly, fair. Then you go on to say, from that convo, I no longer wanted to go on a date and no longer wanted to speak to him, even though I was starting to like him. It was disappointing, so I was very short with him after that. When I did ask him, hey, where are we going for the date? What are we going to do? Location, etc. time? He didn't really have a clear answer, probably because he got his answer. And when you told him you're not into sleeping with him and you're going to be keeping it closed until you get married, he was like, this isn't the girl that I'm looking for. I'm just being for real with you. Okay, so don't be shocked that he started getting unclear with his answers and a bit wishy-washy when you said that. That's the reason. Okay, let's just be for real. It was a huge turnoff. I'm always on top of my game and scheduling things out, and I wanted to know for my safety and scheduling. He then suggested bowling, but I don't think he really picked a food place. I get it because it's New York, so there's food everywhere, but I still would prefer a man taking more initiative. I told him that I don't really do bowling. Why? Just to let you know, Tomisin, I said no because I feel that bowling is the equivalent of a movie date, which is basically low effort. Low effort, or you mean like you don't feel like you can really get to know him on the date? Those are two different things. Because, I mean, you can have fun on a bowling date, okay? I don't think... That's your... Okay, I'll say this. If that's not what you like, that's perfectly fine because you're allowed to say you don't like that. But also understand that, like, you can get to know someone while you can talk to them while bowling. During a movie, it's a lot harder because you can't talk to them. But you should also always be keeping in mind that what you're trying to do here is extract information before anything else. Before going to Nobu and sitting and taking nice Instagram pictures, you're trying to extract information. Okay, because you don't want to get caught up in what are we doing on this date. As long as the date is not in your house, and as long as he's structuring it, scheduling it, and being a man about it, that I'll be honest with you, that is something you can at least work with so that you can gather information. Then if you go out on the date, you don't like his vibe, you don't like how he presents himself, you don't like how he talks, whatever, then just say, I don't want to date you anymore. But I just don't want you to be so focused on the wrong things that you're not doing what's supposed to be done on the date, which is extracting information. Okay, that is the most important thing to do. So anywhere where you can extract information and he's showing effort and planning the date, those are the two things that you mostly need to be worried about. Okay, that's what I would say personally. So I told him no, and he suggested to go to the New York skyscraper thing where the floor is like clear and you can see the whole city and everything. But I said that's But I said that's a good idea, but I'm afraid of heights, so I said no. And then he suggested walking in the park or something, and we kind of went back and forth a little bit, and I just told him it's not by force, and then blocked him. He was trying to say that this is not about the actual date, but it's about how two people can relate to each other and the chemistry and whether we actually vibe, which I thought was total BS. Okay, I'm going to interject here just for a little bit. There's nothing wrong with having a preference here, okay? And there's nothing wrong with wanting someone to show effort for the date with you. But like I just said, the most important thing, especially for a first date, is gathering information, number one, and then deciding if that's even someone that you like enjoy spending time with. So I'm not saying that, you should, guys going super low effort for the first date, that's exactly what you should be looking for and all that stuff. But I'm also not saying that if a guy's not taking you to Nobu, that you should just turn him down because the date's not at Nobu and $500. The reason I say that is because that's a misguided way of going about dating people and dating guys. You're going to miss out on a lot of amazing guys that could even spend a lot of money on you in the future because you're so focused on, is the first date $500 at Nobu or not? What you need to be focused on is he putting in real effort? Is he trying to take initiative? And is he trying to plan and schedule with me like a man? Because the consistency of that and the initiative in that is way more important to a relationship than a man who will spend $500 at Nobu. You do realize that there are rich men in this world that have disposable income that will take you to Nobu on the first date, and they'll try to sleep with you on the first date. And when you don't sleep with them on the first date, they will ignore you after that. So stop thinking that the quality of the date is simply whether or not he asked you to go to Nobu. And depending on the type of person, right? This is what I also want you to understand. Depending on the type of person he is, and maybe you are, there might be a difference in what you guys even consider fun. Because he might be saying, I would love to get to know you while doing something more fun, rather than us just sitting at a dinner table. So I'd like to talk to you while bowling, or I'd like to talk to you while, going and sightseeing, or whatever it may be. And that might just be his vibe. Some guys might even say, I'd love to talk to you while we take our dogs on a hike. That doesn't mean that he's a bad person or he doesn't like you or isn't, a good guy, because his version of enjoying himself and enjoying time with someone he cares about or wants to get to know is taking a hike with your dogs rather than sitting at Nobu. This is where you also have to identify for yourself, are we even of the same vibe? Because someone who enjoys hiking and going outdoors, a guy might say, hey, you want to go for a hike at noon? We can take both of our dogs. A girl that loves outdoors might say, oh my God, that's the best date out. I would love for us to go out on a hike and, go walk our dogs or something like that. Someone that is into that might be their vibe more than just sitting on a dinner date. Someone that's not into that might be like, ew, go for a walk, go for a hike with our dogs. That sounds horrible, right? So I just say that to say this might also just be a sign that you guys don't have the same vibe. You understand what I'm saying? Because it seems like you're expecting something totally different than what he thinks a date should or could be. The next day, I told my cousin about everything. My cousin laughed and said, imagine he is probably on the other line confused as to why you blocked him. I also think that you jumped the gun a little bit and you didn't even give him a chance to show you, you didn't even give him an opportunity here. And I don't think that while the bringing up the pineapples things was definitely a red flag, if you were going to entertain going on an in-person date with him, I feel like you kind of went about that the wrong way. I'll be honest with you. Just so you know, the guy that I'm talking about is Nigerian, and he has just officially moved here. So I understand that the social and cultural understandings might be different. Okay, so you're basically acknowledging that you also think maybe you should have been more understanding. Because what you're saying here is he's basically FOB, which means fresh off the boat, which means he grew up and spent his adult life in Nigeria. He is not quite as aware of how we go about things in America or in Western culture. And you have to understand, I'm telling you this as a Nigerian man who has parents who grew up in Nigeria and has family who grew up in Nigeria. I was also born in Nigeria, but I wasn't raised there. But I understand the cultural differences. And when someone is fresh off the boat, they might go about stuff not because they are, trying to offend you or they don't like you, but simply because they don't know the cultural or societal differences or cues that we go about stuff in this Western culture. And so if you're not understanding of that or understanding of those differences, it might not make sense to you, but clearly you understand that there might be some cultural differences there, which is why he might have went about it a little bit differently. But you're also saying that you gave him no leeway in that. So that's why I'm confused that you're able to acknowledge that, but you also gave him no leeway. And since I'm an empath, it made me feel bad. So I unblocked him and promised myself that I wouldn't text him unless he texted me again. So you should have just had some self-control in the first place, because blocking and unblocking makes it seem like you're really emotionally unstable. But let's go on. Unfortunately, he did text me. What? Unfortunately, he did text me and he said, "Why does it take you so long to text?" I took a screenshot and sent him messages so he would see that I didn't get any of his other messages. Ha 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 ha. He ended up calling me because he wanted to talk on the phone and basically convinced me to go on a date. I still debated it because I really want to go since I knew that his intention, since I didn't really want to go, since I knew that his intentions was probably pineapples. Make a decision. What do you want? Do you want to go out on this date or not? Because you're saying he's not my type and he's not in line with the way I want to go about life, but then you're going out on a date with him anyways. What's the purpose? But I figured if I go out on a date, I don't like him, then I can just move on. And so what happens if you go out on the date and you do like him? Unfortunately, the date went well. So I guess we're about to see. For the most part, we had a lot of fun. We connected. I was surprisingly somewhat attracted to him. It was good until he randomly asked, "Do you suck blank?" Nice. Nice. I was so confused. You're confused? Cece, you're confused why the guy who said he wants specifically to have pineapples before marriage, and are you okay with that, is asking you if you suck pee-pee? You're confused? And annoyed, I told him he had a lot of audacity to ask me such nonsense. That's how they say it in Nigeria. This is the first time I dealt with such a distasteful nonsense. I told him that it was weird for him to ask me that and didn't answer his question. We ended up finishing off the date. He ended up walking me back to the station and I went back home. Just to give more clarity, he lives in the Bronx and I live in Northeast Jersey. So it probably takes an hour and a half to get to Manhattan, and it takes 45 minutes to an hour and a half to get to Manhattan, and it takes 45 minutes to get to what? I think it's for one of you to get to Manhattan and the other person it takes 45 minutes to get to Manhattan. I usually wouldn't go that far for a date because I am so familiar with being in New York and there's always so much to do. I figured it'd be better for us to be in the city. But usually I would make a guy come to my area. I think this was one of the biggest mistakes that I made. Huh? Another important thing to note is that he came late to our date, about 40 minutes late. I was so upset but gave him grace because I know he's new to the city and is still learning the train systems. That's fine. But if he just came 40 minutes late and he didn't message you or anything, then that's a problem. But yeah, I mean, if he came late to the date because I know that sometimes people want to be, first of all, you shouldn't have even been on this date if he's not aligning with your thought process, but let's even put that to the side. Yes, it is okay to be understanding of someone who's actually has real issues to get to this date. So a guy who's fresh off the boat, just getting to New York, is probably going to be a little bit confused on train systems and how to get from one place to another. However, I don't even know why this is relevant based on the fact that he doesn't seem to be in line with your mindset. FYI, I've gotten so used to this city, but I can still get really lost sometimes. We kept in touch after the date. Why? The second date went well. Why did you even go out on this? I'm confused. Chad, are you confused? I'm confused. The second date went well for the most part. We really connected, had fun, but he was always very touchy. At some point during the date, I told him that it was making me very uncomfortable, and so he pulled back completely and didn't touch me for the rest of the date. My love language is physical touch, so I did like it to an extent. It was just way too much, way too soon. Okay, let's take a stretch here, because I don't know. I'm confused, chat. I need to stretch it out. Maybe my brain's not working right, okay? I don't know, man. It's just, it's not really making a lot of sense to me what you're doing here, CC. I was with you at the beginning when you said that, you're a virgin, and so, him saying that he wants to sleep with you is not your style. But I'm just confused how we've ended up all the way down here and you're on the second date now, because like, what is actually the point of this? I don't understand. And you keep saying the ways he's making you uncomfortable during the date is exactly in line with what he told you at the very beginning. So someone who's really keen on having pineapples before you guys get married or whatever, or, if you're going to date and you're wondering why that same guy is trying to touch you during the date and trying to feel up on you during the date. That's literally what he said. Essentially, he was going to be after. So why are you confused? I just don't understand. And why are you going out on a second date? I just don't understand. Also, the beginning of the second date, he told me that he couldn't keep it in any longer. That he was interested in me. He really oh no. I'm scared now, chat. Because this question is long, and I feel like many paragraphs ago, this question should have ended. Like this shouldn't have even been a thing. So as this question is going on, it's making me nervous as to why this question was sent. I'm starting to get really nervous now. At first, I was like, where is this going? Now I'm nervous where this question is actually going because it's so long. And it doesn't end. He was really attracted to me and really wants me to be his girl. He also expressed that he was concerned that I didn't feel the same way, but I reassured him that I did like him, but I felt like we would need more time before I could say yes to that. At the end of the date, we kissed. The best kiss I've ever had, to be honest. This is making me very nervous now. Not gonna lie, I initiated the what? The since he was scared to touch me anymore. I'm getting real nervous now. My heart's beating real fast. Also, when we had dinner, this was before I started listening to you. Oh, no. No. Cece, you're a virgin. Oh, no. I was wondering why this is going for so long. I just let him talk so much, not because I necessarily like when guys talk, but it allows me to know who they are as a person so I can decide whether they fit what I really want in a man. He made you clear that he doesn't from the beginning, so what has that information actually done for you? When he asked me to talk about myself, I didn't really give much. Another important thing to know is that our dates lasted half the day. I'm in an entertainment industry, so my schedule is my own. After the second date, we kept in touch, but the texting wasn't as much, so it made me go into an anxiety span. I was upset about the texting reducing and I also initiated some phone calls, and he called me a lot too. But because I couldn't get over the texting, I told him that I wasn't really sure if this was going to work out, because I feel like a guy would act differently with his dream girl. There are definitely things that I'm going to miss in this story because it's hard to recap every little detail. What do you mean by that, Cece? What do you mean? He suggested we go on another date. This will be our third week for the third date. Instead of being in the city for a lot of hours, he suggested that, we work on music together, which we have been planning to anyways, while make it a date, and we could just stay overnight in a hotel or Airbnb. Let me take I physically need to stand up. I need to drink water before I continue reading, because I have become extremely nervous and the anxiety is really eating away at me. I need to stand up. I need to take a breather, because if I'm scared, then I'm going to sit down and I'm going to read some things that I don't want to read. I need to take a second, because Cece, you were sending in your message and I was very confused why this message was so long. You were going on about you being a virgin and how this guy wants to sleep with you right away. And I was like, why is this even and being entertained? And I didn't even expect you to get to a first date. Now we're on the third date, and the third date is supposed to be you guys working on music overnight at a hotel or Airbnb. Oh my God. Chat, please. I can't. I'm not even gonna turn my head, because I can't even look at the chat. I just have to keep reading. I cannot even look at the chat. So he booked the Airbnb that Friday night. And I woke up very early that Saturday morning, very nervous and concerned, because this is still a new guy and I just feel like it's too fast, too soon. So I panic texted him. Hey, I feel like it's too soon. Did you already book it? Later that morning, he said, yeah, he booked it, but we don't have to stay overnight if I don't want to. And we did stay overnight. Don't worry, no pineapples. Thank God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. For now. Okay. We'll see. We'll see. We pretty much went around the city, worked on music a little bit, but mostly hung out to get to know each other more while at the Airbnb. Things did get a little freaky. What do you mean by that? But I cut it off. He told me that he really liked me and how if we just tried to be business partners or friends, it wouldn't really work, because he would get jealous if he saw someone else talking to me at this point. This is horrible. He said to me twice during that date that he was trying not to F up. I saw this kind of as a yellow flag. During the first date, he also said that he feels like he's a bad boy with a good girl. I also saw this as a yellow flag. He was also a little concerned because after my whole anxiety with the whole text and everything, I told him that I was just going to disengage my emotions, which I did. I didn't really like him as much by the third date. He felt like that was impossible. To be honest, it's not really hard for me to stop liking someone when I feel like they're not the person they're not the person that I want as they're not treating me 100% the way I would want them to. At the end of the third date, I felt the need to ask him if he had AS. And he confirmed that he had AS. And I have AS. So it's kind of pointless for us to try to be together. What is AS? Chat, we literally can't go on until I understand what AS is. What is she talking about? I really wish some of you, like the most important parts of this, you guys would spell out. What is AS? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Please chat. Let me know what AS is. I have no idea. How can two people with AS not be together? What is AS? The genotype? What is a genotype? I don't understand what that is. Someone said a slap. I honestly have no idea what AS is. Someone find autism syndrome for sickle cell. It's a sickle cell trait. Oh, it's okay. So it's a genotype blood type that you get, and I'm assuming that's hereditary. So she's saying that they both have that genotype in their blood. So why be in a relationship? Okay. What does it do? It just gives you sickle cell, so your children will be very sick. Let's go on. He didn't really seem all that concerned about it, but that was a yellow flag to me, because if all he actually cares about is pineapples, then why would he care about us both having AS? Aplasmic anemia? Anemia? I wish you would have said what AS is, because now everyone's guessing and we don't know for sure what to think of what you said. We talked about marriage, kids, and what we want, and all the stuff on our previous dates. He's 28 and I'm 24. He talked about how he wants to get married, have kids, how we're going to get married and have kids. But I told him that I'm just here to find the best possible person for me. That's when I found your channel. Your channel helped me get out of the whole texting mentality, and now I don't even care if guys text me. After the date later that week, I kind of ended things because I felt like he was not the right person for me, and I just kept having no in my spirit about him. And then later, I told him that I was okay with us trying again. So what were you actually learning? But then he didn't really want to start up again because he didn't really trust my emotions. As I assured him that I'm okay with trying, we just have to continue to take baby steps like I had told him before. In between our third date and 2 or 3 weeks after that, we've been kind of going back and forth trying to figure things out and without actually meeting up in person. I kind of decided, what do you keep saying? I kind of thought we could just be business partners as friends and help each other with content for our careers. You guys are saying such random syndromes in the chat. Like, there's no way it can be all of, like, the most random syndromes you guys are saying is we're lost here. Because of this, I was going to go up to the city and meet with him and some others to do promotion for his music. So you're trying to turn this into a friendship. We agreed that he would pay for my services and he would pay for my transportation to there and back. This was the worst one yet, because this man showed up 2 hours late. He was late to our second date and third date, like 40 to 50 minutes each. Wait, so why are you still going out on dates when you said you'd be business partners? You're already in a confusing state. I was so pissed off that at the 2 hour mark, I got up and left and went home. I literally cried on my way home. I found out later that at the 1 hour and 45 minute mark, he was there, but his phone literally died once he said he was there. The part that made sense only because when we first started texting that day to meet up, his phone was on low battery percentage because he was already out that day. He said that he walked around the restaurant to look for me and couldn't find me. I didn't see him either, so he ran across the street to the station to get a charger and charge his phone. And when his phone turned on, I was already on my bus. It was literally just a second before I left the station to go back to Jersey. The other two reasons he was late, which he didn't tell me until I arrived in the city, which pissed me off even more, was that he had to go pick someone up for the promotion shoot, and costume had a mishap that they needed to fix. Honestly, I didn't excuse any of his excuses because he already had been late to all of our dates. I had already told him that I am pissed off of how late he always was. We were already not dating at this point, so what's the point? We're trying to be business partners and friends. He could have told me to stay and wait at home until he actually figured out everything so I wouldn't waste my time. He should have had his phone charged before. Where'd I go? He should have, so he wasn't wasting my time. I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit. When I got home, I left a voice message going off on him about how he's so disrespectful and how he was playing with me. I was actually going to block him and never speak to him again. But the only reason why I left a voice note is because he tried to spin it on me and say that it was all me. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. 1 or 2 weeks after that, he was supposed to come to Jersey to go on a date because I told him that I'm never going to the city for him again. Chat. So the only reason I'm continuing to read this, and I know for some of you, you guys are like, why are you doing this all over again? The point I want to make with this question here is I want you to see how silly you look yourself when you keep going in circles with the same guy over and over again. Because Cece, you look like a fool. It's not to shame you, but I actually want you to realize how much of a fool you look like. From the very beginning, you knew that this guy wasn't what you were looking for based on his mindset and approach to a relationship. You continue to entertain this relationship on an ongoing basis for no reason. And the entire length of your message has just been going on a hamster wheel only, and we're going to skip ahead here because honestly, the rest of this isn't that relevant. Not because I don't want to read your message, but you've been going on the hamster wheel so long, it's the same thing, right? And so we're going to end off here, and I guarantee you when we end off, it'll be the same thing. Get ready to go see him 20 minutes, and that's it. Rubbish. After that, he tried to text me about acting stuff, but I gave him a one-word answer, and we haven't spoken since. It's been several weeks since our third date. At this point, I'm completely mostly over him, but I would like to know how I should proceed so that if he does reach out, I don't make the wrong decision myself, okay? So thank you, Cece, for your long message here. Now, the reason I need to address this way, and the reason I skipped ahead is not because I don't like you or I don't want to read the details of your story, but at a certain point we get the gist and you're going in circles so much that even in your story, it becomes exhausting. We and the chat have not even been in your shoes or been in your position, but we feel exhausted with the constant hamster wheel that you're going on. The situation was over at in the first paragraph when you said in the first couple of paragraphs when you said that you met this guy on a Christian dating app and he brought up pineapples and said that he would only be in a relationship with someone who he was going to have pineapples with. That's done. That's done. You guys aren't on the same page at all. You're a virgin and he's telling you that he's only going to date someone if he can sleep with them. So the example that I want to make out of CC and what I want CC to take from this as well. When you think, write down your list, all of you, this weekend. I want you to start writing down your list of everything you want and are looking for in a guy. How you expect him to treat you, what you want him to do for you, how you want him to talk to you, how you want him to approach the relationship. That way, that can be like your scripture, your template for everything you do after that. That way, when you meet a new guy, you don't have to worry yourself about trying to say, oh, well, I want to wait until marriage, but the guy that I'm dating right now isn't interested in waiting till marriage. In fact, he specifically wants to sleep with me before we get married. Then you say to yourself, he's clearly not what's on my page here and in my template for what I'm looking for. Let me not even waste my time entertaining this guy. So Cece, you're 24. You need to start understanding the difference between learning someone and then making a decision on them versus having a hard boundary that you can't compromise for anyone and knowing that this is not going to work based on you guys having completely opposite morals and values. So for example, what I mean in this specific case is, let's say he says, oh, I'm a vegetarian and you're a carnivore. That might be something that you guys could work on or gain an understanding of, or he's gluten-free, so he can't eat gluten. That might be something you guys come to a compromise on and understanding on. However, you saying you're a virgin who wants to wait till marriage and him saying he wants to be in a relationship where he's going to sleep with the person is not something you compromise on, because it's literally only going to be one or the other. And so I say that to say from that very beginning, that relationship was never going to work out. So you made a mistake of entertaining a guy that actually made you very aware of the fact that he's not what you're looking for. And I just don't see the point of that, because you went on after this, these first 2.5 paragraphs, everything else in this entire story was a hamster wheel. The entire rest of the story. All you did was do the same thing over and over and over and over again, only to come to the end of your story with the same realization that you had at the beginning. The exact same. You could have stopped. You could have not wasted all of that time by simply being honest with yourself about what you're looking for and not trying to compromise that. Stop going on hamster wheels with people when it's clearly not working out. You are on a Christian dating app for a reason, right? You didn't get on a Christian dating app to be going back and forth with a guy about sleeping with him. That already tells you guys don't share the same core values. You're on a Christian dating app so you can meet someone who shares the same core values, not someone that you're trying to convince to come your way or to come to your side. Or else what's the point? You might as well go on Tinder. You might as well go on Hinge. What's the actual point? Make it simple for you, Cece. Don't message him. Don't talk to him. In fact, just block him so that you're not even tempted to message him and he's not tempted to message you. And if he does, you don't see it. So that you can just move on with your life. Because I feel like at this point, you're beginning to have a problem with not just standing your ground and saying that enough is enough. I've wasted enough time here. There is no friendship here. Okay, I'm going to be real with you. There's no friendship here. You guys aren't going to be business partners. You guys aren't going to help each other with content. Go find a girl. You live in New Jersey and you live 45 minutes away from Manhattan and New York. Go find a girl who can help you do content. Go find a girlfriend who can help you do music. I can assure you, I promise you, in New York, you will be able to find at least one good Christian girlfriend that will help you with music and content. That is one thing I can promise you. You live close to New York. I promise you there's at least one girl that you can find and be friends with that will help you do content. It doesn't need to be this guy. So don't think that you're saving this friendship because he's the only guy that can help you with content and music in the state of New York. I assure you that's not the case. Even in the state of New Jersey, I assure you that's not the case. Okay? Lots of people you can find that do that and are into that, especially in New York. So don't think you're saving a friendship for that. Get rid of this guy. Don't try to be friends with him. Stop trying to build your life around him or involve him in your life. Just move forward, because this in totality was a whole mistake that was totally unnecessary. Okay? If you really care about content that much, I just seen someone mention it, right? And New York is an amazing place for socializing creative. 100%. There's so many creative spots for you to go to where people do music and they collaborate, they do art, they do dance, they do all this different stuff that you can go to and meet a whole bunch of creators and doesn't require you to be and hang out with this guy. So don't give me the excuse that you're hanging out with him to help him with your career. Lots of people in New York can help you with your career. That's not this guy. Don't tell me that that's the only guy in New York that knows how to go on TikTok and type in creative places in New York. You can find a lot of stuff. So X him out of your life. No need to continue going back and forth with the guy that nothing is coming from this relationship, and stop going on a hamster wheel. You're literally on a hamster wheel. Don't entertain him coming back. Don't entertain talking to him again. I know that it's been some time since you sent your message in, but I would hope you didn't continue going back on the cycle again, because it's just such a waste. Such a waste. Lots of people, okay? Lots of people to collaborate with. Ice Spice is from the Bronx. Go find another Ice Spice. You could literally shoot a music video on the street. Just start shooting it. People will start joining in and dancing, okay? It's not that hard. You live in New York, okay? Lots of creatives there. Anyways, guys, I know that one was long. That's the show for today. If I didn't get a chance to answer your question, don't worry. I will answer your question. I'm here every single day of the week, and I answer lots of questions. If you want to skip the line and you don't want to wait, 30 days to get your question answered, make sure you go over in the Relationship Advice VIP or Premium, where you can go and ask your question and you can skip the line. All you got to do is donate to the show with the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube. And if you want to ask me a private question, literally after I get off this, I'm answering all my private questions. I have about like 3 or 4 that I haven't caught up on. I'm going to catch up on all my private questions. And if you send me one during this weekend, I'm going to have some time this weekend and I'm going to answer your private questions as well. Just make sure that you fill out the form and you fill it out fully and properly. You submit the form, and when you submit the form, I will answer your question one-on-one via email, and I'll send you a voice message, okay? So that link is also available on my TikTok bio and available in my description. I actually put it in the description now. It'll say private relationship question, and you'll be able to get your question answered that way as well. For those of you who want to follow me on Instagram because you love me so much, you want to see everything that I'm doing at all times of the day, my Instagram is right on the top left of the screen, and you'll be able to follow me and see all the stuff that I do throughout the week and the weekend as well. Get a little bit closer to me. And my Instagram is available for you guys on the bottom right as well. It's just Tomisin_Atub. For those of you who are on TikTok and you want to rewatch the show because you came late or you missed some parts, it's all up here on the top right on my YouTube. My YouTube name is just Tomisin Atobatele. Type it in on YouTube. You'll be able to find my YouTube channel. Go into the live section specifically. You'll be able to find this live stream along with all the other live streams I've ever done from the beginning of time. And the best part is you'll have the YouTube and the TikTok live chat embedded in the video, so you never miss a moment of conversation that we have in the chat. All right? Until we meet again, which will be on Monday. I'm here every weekday, Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Got to figure out what time that is in your time zone. But until we meet again on Monday, I will see you later. I'll be posting on YouTube throughout the weekend, and I'll see you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe. Live in love and happiness. Don't get jackrabbited by men who aren't committing themselves to you. And I will see you again very, very soon. Okay, goodbye for now. Arrivederci, adios, sayonara, hasta la vista. Bon voyage. Oh, ciao. I forgot that one too. Ciao. And I will see you again on Monday. I love you so much. Okay, bye for now.